January I did 86.
January to 86. So first year was, you said it was about 100?
About 130-ish.
Got it. In about 5 months. So 4 months.
Yeah.
Well, cool business.
Yeah.
So what clicked in January?
That's when I really transitioned into IULs.
Hello, everybody. Grady Polson here, Family First Life America. Excited to have Grant Rolen on with us. At 24 years of age, has had quite a life and a story that he'll share with you. Many different things he's done so far. I think I was still serving tables at 24, so you're kicking my butt as far as advancements of your career. But to see him and what he's accomplished so fast, to have a record-breaking month of 86 families protected, averaging between 40 and 50 families every single month, to protected over 225 so far, 4 months in to 2024 is a testament to who he is, his work ethic, his environment he puts himself in, and his disciplines. And those are things that we all can adjust. We can adjust our work ethic. We can we can evolve our skill set. We can change who we surround ourselves with, and we can have more discipline. And these are all things that successful people find a way or find themselves doing, and unsuccessful people make excuses about not being able to make it happen. And so I'm excited for all of you guys to learn from Grant. And without that, we'll kick it off. Grant, how you're doing great, but give us some insight. Love everybody to meet you, hear your backstory, learn who you are, and learn more about who Grant is.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really do appreciate it. A little background about me. So I played college baseball at Benedictine University in Arizona, in Mesa here. I really just fell out of love with the sport. I wanted to start a career. My uncle owned a farmer's insurance agency, so he just gave it over to me. He was going to mentor me and help me through the process of like learning how to grow a business, how to generate leads, how to quote, car insurance, home insurance, business insurance. So I started that. And then about a week in, his son passed away. So my cousin passed away, and then he totally had to leave. And then it was just me. And honestly, I dealt with the most tough thing that I dealt with in the business. So I had a client that was worth 25,000 in commission, or 25 families, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And I entirely lost it because I was quoting business insurance wrong. So I essentially lost like a good chunk of my book because I didn't know what to do. So that was a tough thing to do. First week in the business, lose our biggest client. But then 6 months down the road, I really just started to figure out, who I was in the business, how to talk to clients, how to sell, how to be professional. This was really my first job, first career. So it was a blessing to be able to get into life insurance and insurance early. The way that I got into Family First, I met Christo through my barber. So shout out Christo. We got the same barber. And he was like, yeah, one of my buddies owns a life insurance brokerage. And I was interested because really I was making really crap money. So I got on a call with Christo, and he was like, yeah, dude, like I can help you, make like a good amount of money. I can help you with the business. And I was like, what kind of a scam is this? Right. So yeah, Christo sent me the contracting email, and it was in my inbox for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then he texted me one morning and was like, hey, it's either you're going to join, like we're blowing up, or, you're not going to join. So, it's either just make a decision kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I went right to my computer and I accepted it. And then I gave it a shot, and
When was that?
absolutely changed my life. So
what was the timeline? So when did you talk to the barber, then get on with Christo, and then what was this, last year? Obviously sometime last year.
Yeah. So 2023 of June.
Okay.
I met Christo at the grand opening of our barber shop that we go to. And then like a month and a half later, then I started August 1st in FFL.
Got it. So how did you close out last year? ballpark production?
About
Let's not go there
100.
yet. Well, real quick before so what was it? So you get contracted, and then
Yep.
he's like, well, we're gonna get leads and we sell virtually because that's Christo, they crank virtual. And what
Yeah.
did you start with? How did that all start?
So I started with final expense.
Okay.
Shout out Nectar Marketplace. No longer a thing.
Yeah,
But yeah. ILC and Nectar. That's what I did. And I just ran it up. Honestly, like I was on Zoom at 6 a.m. every morning because I was broke and I just wanted to figure it out. Um, every single morning on at 6 a.m., dial till noon, and then on till like 8 p.m. at night, just because I was so determined to figure this out and grow a massive business. And it really changed my life because I saw the potential with this. So what was the other question?
that
What
was
leads?
that's awesome. So what was your? I mean, did you hit it out the ballpark? I mean, your commitment was there. But how was your first week, second week, first month?
Yep. So for first month, I did about 14 or 15 families protected. Second month, I did 26 families protected. And then third, it was 33. And then fourth, 36.
Got it.
And then the month after that, I did 86.
That was December.
January, I did 86.
January to 86. So first year was, you said, it was about 100.
About 130-ish.
Got it. In about 5 months. So 4 months.
Yeah.
Cool
Yeah,
business.
4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Cool business.
Yeah.
So what clicked in January?
That's when I really transitioned into IULs.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you
And
transitioning.
fun fact. So in farmers, I told you this on the phone a little bit, but in farmers, they taught me IULs before whole life or term. So that's the only thing that I did. That's what I started with.
Got it.
So it was just like second nature to me. So then when I saw like Scotty Rapp doing what he was doing,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I should just do that. So then I started self-generating leads on Facebook for IULs, and then that's what I specialize in now. So
That's awesome, dude. So any huge ones in there or just a lot of normal ones?
a lot of like 6K AP. Um, I have a few 12K, a few 18K. Um, I had 120K get declined
Oof.
all around the board. So
What do they
yeah,
have going on?
he had PTSD.
Yeah, there you go. I was
Yeah,
trying to explain, like, IUL guidelines are very comparable to term guidelines. The only benefit is that when most IULs can be fully underwritten, which puts you in a position where you have table rating classes. And so PTSD, though, can be at times a challenge unless we pivot to final expense, which is not nearly as juicy as a 120 IUL.
yeah, yeah.
So cool, bro. Okay, so now it's just been IULs. You've been focused on that. Are you getting referrals now from clients? They're coming back to you and like, I want you to take care of my brother. I mean,
Yep.
what else has happened in the past 4 months? I mean, you've been here less than a year and you're just running.
Yeah. So honestly, I get a good influx of leads each day from my campaign on Facebook. And then also, yeah, the referral play. So whenever I protect a family, I'll say, hey, is there anybody else that you know that you think might be a good fit for an IUL? And they'll give me a few names and I'll call them just to see, hey, so and so said that you're interested in this, and I just play the referral game. But really, I get around 10 to 15 leads a day. So a constant flow of leads coming in, and they're pretty high intent with the way that like I market. Like me and Christo are doing something pretty exciting in the next few months. So
Cool, bro.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind
Awesome.
of what we do.
That's awesome. So, getting leads. So now what's your day like now? Right. So, fast forward, you grinded it
Yep.
out. I mean, is it still you're up at, 5, 6 a.m. getting after it, or do you more so have your CRM pre-book appointments? What do you do now that kind of structures your production?
Yeah, so I get up at 5, hit the gym, then I'll meditate, journal, read, like dive into myself, make myself the best version of myself that I can be each day. come back, have my coffee, sit down at the computer at like 7:45. And then I will go over what my day is going to look like the night before, and then right before, I get in my day, and then I hit my dials, show up to appointments. Typically my calendar is pretty booked out for each day. So I just am really just showing up to appointments, and then appointment setting for myself on the next few days on when, you know, whenever the lead's available. We use Go High Level.
Sure.
So there's AI functions in there where they can automatically, whenever the lead responds, the AI will respond, and then it'll book it on your calendar.
Yeah.
Starting to tap into that side of things, where trying to automate it, but also like work my butt off as usual.
Yeah.
And then really, so I dial from 8 to noon. Whenever my guys on my team have any presentations, I hop in the room. Otherwise, then I dial from 1 to 5. And then if I'm not satisfied with where I'm at for the day, I'll do an extra dial session from like 6 to 8.
So the appointments that are already on your calendar when you wake up are pre-books from your CRM communicating with them.
Yeah, I would say like 50% of my leads, they get auto booked because they reply, yeah, I'm available at 10 a.m. Friday, May 17th, and then I'll just book it for me.
Cool.
And then if I see that it'll do that, I'll give them a call and I'll just confirm their appointment, just to make sure that they're talking to me. They know it's me when I'm calling them, so they're ready for our appointment.
Cool.
So yeah.
Just simple touches. So ballpark, how many appointments a day are you trying to have booked? And then how many presentations do you usually end up getting on?
I would say 8. Typically the goal is like 8 a day.
Okay.
And they're all Zoom meetings. Like with IULs, I always get on a Zoom with them and I educate them and I show them like what the cash value is, what the surrender value is, and what the death benefit is,
Okay.
what living benefits are. Like I go over all the ins and outs of it. So then they're well educated. They know exactly how to leverage it when they do get it. So yeah.
That's
Yeah.
simple. That makes it fun. Now, are you is your CRM sending out Zoom links with it? So it's a Zoom to start. It's not like there's no pre-call to find out if they're interested, and then you're Zooming from there. Like people just try to give agents the easiest flow, right? So this would be the optimal way. Get there first.
So my Zoom account is linked up to Go High Level. So whenever they book an appointment, it just will send them the Zoom link as well. For somebody that hasn't booked yet, I'll call them and I'll do my intake process, which is like, hey, we're just gonna see if we're a good fit to work together. I'm gonna go over medically where you're at, habits wise where you're at, active driver's license or felonies and misdemeanors. And then I'll get, income wise where they're at, what they do for work. And I'm just chatting up with them. It's just a conversation. It's not like a scripted thing, obviously. So I get kind of income wise where they're at, take home. And then after that, I say, so what does your at-home life look like? Do you have a family, kids? Do you have a mortgage you're paying on? Are you paying on a car payment? Like what does like your at-home life look like? So I get all of that and I see if we're a good fit to even get on a second call to go on the Zoom. Otherwise, I don't want to waste my time.
Because if they're sick or they have no money, we got to go a different direction, right?
Yeah, if they're disabled, if they're making $1,000 a month off of Social Security, it's just not a good fit. So I'll just tell them that, and then I'll try to transition into like a typical whole life, to get them some sort of coverage or get them just a bare minimum, death benefit based IUL for some sort of protection. And I'll just, if their focus is cash value and they're not making a lot, I'll just shift their focus by just talking a lot about family protection. You have 4 kids and no life insurance, like you need death benefit protection. So, and then if they're like, yeah, like I do want to protect my family, then we would get on a Zoom and I would show them typically Mutual of Omaha, IULE, to get them covered.
So what was that? So we're going to find out if we're a good fit to work together. And you said like 5 things. Your habits, like what were the
Yep. So first, I say, yeah, so we're going to look at health-wise where you're at. If you're a smoker, non-smoker, any medications you're taking, anything you've been diagnosed with. And then second, we're going to look at your habits. So they take a look at if your driver's license has been suspended, if you have a DUI, DWI, anything like that. And then they'll look at any felonies, misdemeanors in the last 10 years. And then I'll ask them, what are you doing for work? What does your income look like after taxes? Take home. And then I'll ask them, what does your at-home life look like? Get a good basis of that. And then I'll ask them, do you have any sort of life insurance in place currently, or is it just through your job? And then I'll ask them, what retirement do you have planned? Because a lot of people want to look at IULs for like a supplemental retirement.
Yeah.
So then I'll get, if they have a 401k, IRA, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, any of that for an annuity opportunity later down the road.
Smooth. And what I found is, you're dealing with someone talking about retirement, right? Which is kind of something everybody knows they need to focus on. However,
Yep.
most people that we talk to aren't focusing on it at all. And it's like taxes, right? Oh, I don't want to deal with taxes, but it's like retirement, right? So if we can talk about retirement and give you tax-free retirement income through this product, is that something that would interest you, John? Yes, it would, Grant. What do you have for me? So perfect. So that's cool, man. So it's real. So in that point, that's going to be your phone call. And then then you'll transition to a Zoom, and then you'll pull up is Mutual of Omaha your go-to for everything, or what's your second favorite IUL carrier?
National Life Group is my second.
Cool. So you're booking appointments, you're rolling, you've got good word tracks. How do you, I mean, when you explain the more details into the IUL, are you doing that with the illustration up, or are you doing that over the phone?
If they ask me on the intake process, can you explain the IUL for me? I'll say, hey, can you grab a pen and paper real quick? And I'll have them jot down index, universal life. I'll have them spell it out, and then I'll have them write down death benefit.
Okay.
And then I'll say right under that, write down living benefits. And then right under that, write down cash value accumulation. So John, the death benefit obviously is, when you pass away, your family gets a lump sum paid out to you tax-free, right? So that's the traditional life insurance. And then right under that, living benefits, that's if you become critically, chronically, terminally ill. I'll explain that. You can access the death benefit early, help pay for any medical bills, or if you're not able to work, you can pay for your day-to-day expenses. And then cash value accumulation, if that's what they're looking at in their primary goal that they filled out the ad for, be like, so this is what you're wondering about here. So it's cash value accumulation is directly tied to the S&P 500, and you get indexing credits towards the cash value account. So it's two separate accounts. There's a death benefit, and then the cash value is how I explain it. And then you can leverage that as like a supplemental income down the road for retirement. You can pull and borrow from that and leverage that however you want to leverage that. So
how do you get their number? Like when you're trying to get a number to illustrate, how do you set that up? So obviously you're asking them, free cash flow or how much you saving or whatever, but you want them to tell you their number, because then it looks, they picked it, you didn't pick it, right? So how do you get there?
So I get a good basis of where their income's at on the intake call. So I'll say, hey, so what's the super comfortable amount you want to look at on a month-to-month basis that you want to contribute towards this? And I'll ask them, and if they say, I think 150 to 250, then I'll show them 250 first, and then if they want to look at anything after that, then we'll look at anything after that. If I feel like they're saying a number that's too high, I'm going to say, yeah, I can show you that. I don't really recommend that for where you're at, just because you can't really access the funds in this account for a few years down the road if constructed correctly, which is why you're working with me, essentially. So a lot of people think that you can just access funds right away, and I just have to set that expectation that you can't.
Yeah. I can't take the money out of the death benefit and go buy a new car. I thought that's what TikTok said,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Or if I put in 20 grand, can I take out 700 grand? Yeah, I get that one sometimes. Yeah.
So what if they're saying a number that's too low? How do you push them to think bigger?
So I'll show them whatever they want to look at. And then after I show them, be like, hey, financially, you're in a very comfortable spot. Let me just show you what this would look like. Because obviously, the more fuel you put on the fire, the more the fire is going to grow. So let me just show you how you can really take advantage of this and what I would recommend. And I'm going to show them that through the illustration, show them how the cash value differs, if that's their goal, or if they want more death benefit, I'll show them how they can get more death benefit. So,
Cool. Okay. Do you and we talked about you being able to show a couple of illustrations. Do you have one you want to
yeah,
show or
yeah.
okay, so Grant's gonna pull up some illustration software. Has this been good so far? Drop some more GRs in the chat below to show Grant some love for all you shared with us, because I got a whole page of notes. And if you're not taking notes, you're not gonna remember it. So but let's look at Grant's got it. Perfect. So we're gonna look at you take the helm.
So I'll show you really like where I started. So I'll get them on Zoom. They'll be like, hey, we're gonna look at Mutual of Omaha. So I pull up their timeline here. You can see this, right?
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, so they're a Fortune 500 company. They were founded in 1909. I'll show them like a little bit about the company history. Obviously, everybody's heard of Mutual of Omaha. And then I'll be like, yeah, so that, they had the TV show, everything like that. And I'll kind of scroll down like that. And I'll show them, here's their financial ratings. So A+ by AM Best, A1 by Moody's Investor Service, A+ by S&P Global. And I'll just be like A+, 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 and then they're Better Business Bureau accredited at A+ in 1940. Cool, cool. And then I'll go here. Investopedia, Best Index Universal Life Insurance, Mutual of Omaha. And I'll show them that just to kind of build credibility from there.
Huge, bro.
Yep. And then WinFlex, that's how you design it. So I went to insured, no name, male 45, standard non-tobacco, state of Arizona. Face solve, minimum face, that's the way that you should do it if somebody wants to accumulate cash value. The way to really leverage the cash value the most, and this is pretty in-depth, but you can do increasing, which will minimize it to the absolute minimum. So then they can really leverage cash value. But if somebody wants a little bit more death benefit, this is the way to go. Keep it at level. It's the simplest way to do it. Index strategy, I typically do 1 year, 100% participation account, 50%, and then 50% the B of A account. Because this is an uncapped account. So I like to divvy it up so then we can never get a 0 year. And let me know if I'm going too fast.
No. This is what people showed up for. So they bought tickets. So keep going.
Yep.
Detailed as you got.
And then you click calculate. And this is the IULE. If you didn't know, you can customize the IULE. It's still instant approval. So it's in the best interest of the client in most cases and yourself to get the coverage right away. And as far as like a business standpoint, the reason why I like Mutual of Omaha a lot is because you can get business issued, paid. You don't have to reach out to the client to sign a final form or anything like that. Like it's all done. If they need you, they can call you and it's done. So that's how you do it. And then I pull this up and I'll just say, yeah, so this is their logo, Mutual of Omaha. They've been around for more than a century. Here's a little policy overview. Name, age 45, standard non-tobacco. Initial premium outlay, that means how much you're contributing on a month-to-month basis. So $250 a month. So for that $250 a month, we're doing the minimum death benefit max cash value option, like I spoke to you on the intake call about. There's a few different ways you can design these. You can do max death benefit, minimum cash value. You can do a blend of both, or you can do minimum death benefit, max cash value. So we're looking at minimum death benefit, max cash value. So for the minimum death benefit max cash value option, you're going to have a death benefit of $146,629. Okay. And then like I mentioned to you before, so there's two separate accounts. There's the death benefit and then the cash value. So we're going to be talking about the cash value for the index strategy that we're using. So obviously you've heard of the S&P 500. It's 500 best companies in America. 1 year, 100% participation account. 50% blend between that and the B of A US Agility Index 1 year uncapped account. Okay. And then I'll go into So then remember when I had you write down living benefits? So that's what we're going to look at now. So the riders attached, accelerated death benefit for chronic illness, accelerated death benefit for critical illness, and then accelerated death benefit for terminal illness. I will go in depth with that and I'll say, yeah, so if you become sick, you can access the $146,000 early or a portion of that to help pay for any of your medical bills. Make sense? Any questions so far? No? Okay. So then I go down and I go down to this page. So I show them the past 20 years of return with each index option. So the S&P 500, 1 year, 100% participation. That's the one account that we're putting it into, like I said, and then the 1 year uncapped account over here. So as you can see, when the market crashed in 2008, it was at negative 38% and you got 0%. So with the IULs, you're protected with a floor of 0 is what I'll tell them. And then I'll say whenever the market goes up above 9.25, you're capped at 9.25, which is still a great rate of return in a given year. Okay, so floor of 0, 9.25. This account over here, when you're uncapped, same thing. So whenever it goes negative, you get 0%. And then it has, let me see, where is it at? It has a participation rate, which is essentially like a multiplier of 1.75. Okay, so you go down here, 3.16 times 1.75, you get 5.54 credited to that account. So we're doing a 50-50 split between both of them, so we can never get you a 0 year. The goal is always get some sort of index credited towards your account. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Awesome.
Right. And then I go down here. And I'll show them. First, obviously, you always have to show the guaranteed account or the guaranteed hypothetical illustration, and then the alternate scale non-guaranteed, then the non-guaranteed. So I show them, see this right here? Guaranteed interest rate, 0%, 0%. So I say, yeah, so we're going to look at the guaranteed column first. So this is if the market does negative every single year or 0% every single year. Okay. So as you can see, it will lapse when you are about age, when you're age 84 to 85. Okay. And obviously, Grady, as you know, the market's never done negative for this long period of time. It's not going to be negative for 39 years in a row. Okay. So this is just the worst scenario. This is probably not going to happen, but I'm just required to show you this. And then I'll show them alternate scale non-guaranteed, 3.75, 3.75. So I'll be like, Grady, so this is just with like a really underperforming market. This is probably never going to happen. But if the market does 3.75 over the next 100 or so years, this is what it's going to look like. And then I just show them that it lasts until 120. And I'll be like, this is how you know that it's constructed correctly for you. This is putting you in the best possible situation. Sound good? Okay. So, and I'll tell them the non-guaranteed account is the account that'll show them roughly what they're going to be credited towards their cash value account. So what I say is, so we're going to look at the non-guaranteed illustrated rate account here. So you're going to look at anywhere between 5.92 and 5.16. So that's around 5.4% return in your account. Okay. So as you can see, from the accumulation value, 2,221 out of the 3,000 that you're putting in for the year goes towards your cash. And then the surrender value, that's how much you can access out of your cash value account. Okay. The death benefit, obviously, that's when you pass away. This is the amount that gets passed down to your beneficiary of your choice, tax-free in a lump sum, like I explained earlier. So then if their goal is retirement, I'll show them, hey, so based off 5.4% in the surrender value, you're going to have about 80,000 in that account that you can leverage. You can loan against it. You can borrow, you can borrow against it. You can withdraw from that.
Yeah.
And then I'll explain to them. So the really cool thing, so I'm like, imagine you bank with Chase. So you have your checking account with Chase, you have $80,000 in here, and you have Chase, the financial institution. So you're not going to take a loan from your checking account, you're going to take it from Chase. So it's like the same thing here. So your cash value count of 80,000, you have Mutual of Omaha, you're going to take a loan. If you want to take a loan for 80 grand, you can take it from Mutual of Omaha while your account is untouched and growing tax-free in this account. Does that make sense? That's why people leverage that, is what I'll say. So that's really like the process that I go over with that, just so they're well educated about how to leverage that.
Sure.
So yeah, hopefully that was helpful.
No, that was solid. It's, I mean, this is a very small IUL, right? And which is a safe one, but it has, you know, death benefit doesn't expire as long as you make your payments, right? It's growing cash value, et cetera. Now, a lot of people sell IULs for the tax-free retirement income. Can you do an illustration with Moo with showing tax-free retirement income starting to take withdrawals after 20 years? Maybe if we.
Yeah. So with Moo typically doesn't have like the lifetime income.
Or
That's
the 20-year, or just showing. So what I always like to get people to understand is, like, say you buy it at 24, right? And you put
yeah.
you put 2,000 a month away from it from 24 until 34. And then at 65, you start to take out what could I potentially take out on an annual basis at 65, right? Or say you fund it 24 to 64 at 250 a month, right? How can we show your young friends the value of saving into a policy like this? So, I mean, big numbers always show nice, right? But those are always the ideal, where the way I've sold IULs and the way I always try to construct them. Now, granted, accessing cash value is great, but if I'm trying to show someone retirement, I want to show someone, like, you see 80,000, that's great. But if I add that to hypothetical, this client, their Social Security income, Bob, and you're making 2,000 a month in Social Security, and also you can take out an additional there's an additional $30,000 a year in tax-free retirement income. Now take that 30,000 and multiply it by 0.7, right? Because you'd have to have, then that would be how much money you'd have to have in a 401k, then pay taxes on it to equal the tax-free retirement income coming out in your IUL.
Yeah.
You can illustrate that?
Yes. Give me one sec.
Yeah, just throwing some zingers at you, but this is, we'll go two different directions. But no, that was great. Hey, well, we've got Grant here and he's working. Anyone have any quick questions while you're there? And we appreciate you, Mohammed. This is gas. I agree. People access WinFlex from Mutual of Omaha back office. Is it software you got to download, or is it all web-based?
It's all web-based. Yeah. You just got to register for your account. And then you have to plug in your producer number, and then they'll grant you access to this. So yeah. I recommend this for anybody that's trying to get into IULs instead of trying to get the National Life Group contract. You have Mutual of Omaha already. Most people do. So I would just recommend just to get really good at WinFlex. It's the easiest to duplicate. So yeah, give me one sec.
This is awesome so far, Grant. Thank you so much for digging into this with us.
Yep, of course. So annual total disbursement, let me delay that till.
So one thing, guys, some good lines while you're talking to clients is, listen, Bob and Betty, as we understand, the goal of this IUL is to accomplish three things, right? We're talking about death benefit, as Grant touched on, living benefits, and then cash value accumulation, right? The goal of the cash value accumulation is ideally that you've got some money waiting for you upon retirement, or some money that you can access. One of the things that we structure here is putting something in place where you can actually take tax-free loans from your policy and increase your retirement income. So hypothetically, Bob and Betty, what number is comfortable for you today to start saving, if you were to start saving into an account that down the road would be able to equate to how much money that you can withdraw from? Now, understand though, the bigger the number you're able to save each and every month into this policy is going to be more money you're able to draw from down the road. And as you start to have these conversations with people, that's why I asked you, how do you push them? And you nailed it. You're like, I just show them both, right? If you see 80, and if you put in 250, imagine they put in 1,000, right? You probably have between, 360 to 450,000 based on the growth of the interest. Like, do you want, 250 might be easy for you. Is 1,000 going to be hard? Where else are you saving money right now? Are you paying down your mortgage? Are you overfunding your 401k? Do you have, or did you invest in an ATM business? Do you have some rental properties that you could sell, right? Where else are you putting money into that you could then reallocate into something like this?
All right. Let me see. Okay. So starting age 71, they should be getting $14,106 in total disbursements withdrawals.
Got it.
From,
So an extra $1,000 a month.
yep.
And they put in $500 a month for how many years?
Till for 25 years.
Got
till
it.
age 70. Yep.
Cool. So it just keeps paying them. Plus the death benefit, plus the cash values there also they can pull from at any time.
For the rest of their lives till 120. Yep.
That's cool. And then if they died at 120, there's still $20,000 of death benefit to cover the casket.
Yep, exactly.
So, okay. So Bob and Betty say, Grant, this looks great. What's your next step? How does a tactful producer like yourself, go, all right, I got him, but I want to make sure I'm doubled down. Like, what other things, what are you anchoring in here to make sure you're solidifying the sale?
Yeah, so I'll just be like, hey, so I know we looked at 500 a month retirement-based option, right? Do you want to look at any other options? Like, do you want to look at 750? I'll just ask them, and then they're like, no, 500 a month is good. I'll be like, okay, cool. So is this something that you want to get in place, or is this something you want to get approved for? And as soon as they say yes or or okay, then I pull up the application and I go into it with them on Zoom so they can see my screen and everything. Yeah.
Cool. And then, okay, perfect. Get that filled out. What is the next? And so app is submitted. They're smiling. We'll let you know. I don't get to decide. Otherwise, I'd approve everybody. You still have to be approved. What do you then say to kind of, what's that next sort of process go? When are you calling, texting, emailing, thank you cards, flowers, cookies? How does that next days to weeks look for you?
Yeah. So if they get approved or go to underwriting.
Both. However you handle it, whichever one.
So if they get approved, I'll say, hey, congratulations. This is gonna, again, the reason why we're talking today is this is gonna protect your family on the worst day of their lives. So it's been a huge blessing that we've been able to sit down and talk today and actually figure out a good plan for you and your family. And I really like cement the sale there. Once I cement the sale, and I got that line from Steve Giordano at convention.
Yeah.
So once I cement the sale, then I'll reach out to them about 2 weeks later and I'll just be like, hey, I just want to check, have you gotten your policy packet yet? Just want to make sure you guys are good. Any questions you have for me? Nothing? Okay. And then if their effective date is like a week or 2 weeks out, I'll send them a text message or call them the day before just to let them know, to remind them, hey, make sure you have funds in your account. Do you have any questions for me? I'm always here to help you, kind of thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, that's really whenever they get approved, that's what I do. And then for underwriting, I typically reach out to them for the first few days. It's like every day to give them an update. And then after a few days, then I'll reach out to them like every other day, just be like, hey, nothing yet, still waiting on the response. And then once I do get a response from like Mutual of Omaha or National Life Group or Fidelity, I'll say, hey, we need this. They say that they found this prescription on your medical record, or they found that you have a felony or whatever. And then I'll get the responses that are needed. So.
Got it, man. Smooth. All right. So, close this out, Grant. What are final tips you've got for these agents out there that are looking for, this is a career, or are stuck in a rut and trying to dig through? Because there's a lot of top agents out there that are just trying to learn, what do you say here? What do you say there? And I think you did a phenomenal job there. But there's the agent out there, maybe not even licensed yet, that's looking at this as a potential career option. What's some advice and insight you have for everybody out there?
Yeah. So really, I would dive into yourself to ask yourself, am I somebody who's meant to work a 9 to 5, or somebody who wants more for themselves? And not to knock any 9 to 5 people, but there's two separate people that want to be entrepreneurs, to be in control of everything in their lives. And then people that are okay being comfortable, and that's fine. But if they want to be an entrepreneur and they want to change their lives, this is the perfect opportunity to do so, because there's no income cap. You can do whatever you want in this industry, and you can grow as big as a team as you want to. You can produce at an extremely high level. You can really make this work if you want it to work. You just got to be able to put in the work with yourself first and foremost, and then after that, be on at 6 a.m. Do anything that you have to do to make a sale every single day, or at least do the actions to get you to the sale, maybe the next day or the next day. Like, you have to make this your life, and you have to be absolutely obsessed with the ins and outs of this business to really like be on the entirely next level in this business, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, man. Awesome. Well, Grant, you're fantastic. It's awesome to see how far you've come so quickly. We always got to ask, what's your goal for the year?
My goal is to hit 800 families protected.
Why not 1,000 and get that gold jacket?
Let's do 1,000.
Let's do it, bro. Gold jacket Grant. We're gonna call you in a convention next year, bro. Congrats! It's excited for you. Everyone drop 1,000 in the chat below to cheer him on, because you know, the way you're at, and as you continue, what's fun is that when people set goals, they don't anticipate themselves actually getting even better. As good as you are right now, you're gonna look back on this training in 6 months and go, holy, like that, look where I was then, and look what I'm look what I'm doing now. And that's one of the best things that we could only hope as people and producers and business owners and entrepreneurs is to continue to develop our skills. So, you know, congratulations to you. Great. Appreciate Christo for all he's done and working with you. But I mean, you're clearly destined for something huge, man. And you're taking your life by the horns and making it happen. So thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you. Keep those thousands going. Show them some love. And Grant, we'll see you soon, brother. Appreciate a ton of you, and we'll talk to everybody the next time. Bye for now.
Appreciate it, Grady.